Hi folks, this is all the fruit. I actually discovered this dwarf palm tree courtesy to the parakeets. They just flew from one tree to the other, but I couldn't catch them, a whole swarm. I don't know if they're exactly the same species as we have in Germany, or maybe one of the species we have in here they are. Well, they are green and the size of pigeons. So yeah, some of those nasty parakeets eating fruit trees everywhere. I noticed a lot of fruit lying on the ground. They looked a lot like Chinese dates or jujube. Then I saw the dwarf palm and thought, of course, dwarf palm fruit. Then I looked again down and they look a little bit juicy and succulent for dwarf palm fruit. Then I picked up one. Tried it. And indeed it's dwarf palm. Quite on the large side for dwarf palm, to be sure. But that in itself wouldn't have been so amazing. But it's also very much on the tasty side for dwarf palm. This winter I'm discovering interesting dwarf palm varieties everywhere. I discovered two quite interesting ones on Tenerife, and this year, although it doesn't look very distinct, it's still quite interesting. Well, okay, the fruit are quite big. Actually, I even discovered another one on Tenerife, but I was so stupid I didn't even try it. With flattish fruit, with almond-shaped fruit. But this year, this is amazing. I wouldn't say it's as good as a good date, but it's better than a really bad date. Yeah, the parakeets were eating them, and since they are pretty messy eaters, they dropped a lot. And don't get me wrong, the fruits are still dry, smelly, and fibrous. However, less so than other dwarf palms. The flesh can quite easily be separated from the big seed. The tartness is not very expressed, but the sweetness is. Those are really sweet and just a bit tart. Really sweet and just a bit tart. And juicier than the average dwarf palm. I mean, look at that. Yeah. Even without using my nail, just with my finger, can scrape off a bit of the flesh. This stuff is good. Makes you wonder, before the Carthaginians arrived in southern Spain and on some of the Mediterranean islands and brought the dates, did the locals maybe cultivate the dwarf palm? Did they maybe select good varieties? I mean, the good thing about the dwarf palm is it's very frost tolerant. Maybe not the most frost tolerant palm in the world, but definitely by far the northernmost palm in the world. The only palm that's really native to the European continent. Definitely a lot more frost tolerant than the date. And to be honest, in an area without dates, it could be worth developing this stuff to a state in which it's actually good for cultivation. You just need to remove the fibers, make the flesh bigger, make the seed smaller, make the flesh thicker. If the flesh was over 1/2 centimeter thick and without those fibers, the taste, it would be still a niche product, but you could offer an additional fruit tree for. It would grow in most of the Mediterranean and in large parts of Western Europe and even in some parts of Central Europe. amazing. Well, those have been eaten not only by parakeets but also by other critters. But they're still amazing. Yeah. Still nothing special compared to dates, but compared to other dwarf palm fruit, I would totally forage this if I found it in the wild. But in a survival situation, the difference between this one and the normal dwarf palm fruit is significant. This could be a real lifesaver. Not much, not very tart. So, you would basically have no ill effects. The leaves are quite far apart, so you could easily forage for the fruit. The fruit are good size, so you get calories for your work. Sweeter than normal dwarf palm, yeah. I'm surprised. I've been nibbling on dwarf palm fruit for many years, on and off, and maybe nibbling fruit from about 100 specimens of Chamaerops humilis, and this is so far by far the best. The first one that really convinced me. Well, folks, tell me, do you know of other good quality dwarf palm fruits? By the way, if someone is interested in getting the seeds, I'm not collecting any seeds, but we are here at the crossroads of Avenida de Libre, whatever, and don't ask me what the other road is, but you can figure it out from this video now. Come here, get yourself some tasty dwarf palm seeds. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from Lisbon, which is not as fruit rich as the Canary Islands, but it keeps surprising me with new fruits. And if you don't want to miss any fruit video, please click on the bell icon beneath the video.